Hey everybody, Jason here. I hope you're all doing really good. Today I'm going to be practicing a little bit of CPU rework on an iPhone 10, and against my better judgment, I'm going to do it in front of a camera. So let's have a look at this thing. This PCB has already seen tons of rework, so we're not too worried about screwing anything up. I've been using this for parts for quite some time. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start trimming around this CPU. Now, I would like for all of you to keep in mind that I have never done this before. I have did some practice rework on previous models, but this is the first time ever touching the application processor on an iPhone 10. So let's see what we can do with it. I'm going to begin, like I do with my NAND rework. The CPU, I'm planning on lifting it up from this part right here, as this looks like it would be the easiest. So I'm actually going to begin here, cleaning up this goo and trimming around it. I'm going to begin here so that I can end here and pull this chip. Now, I don't like, on NAND rework, I don't like having to spend a bunch of time fixing these little components, so let's be extra careful not to disrupt them. Now I've got my hot air right now. It's set on 200C and I'm at an airflow of 75. However, don't take that to heart because this is a quick 861 DW hot air station. The links for the tools I use are in the description below, but I have never calibrated it, so I don't know exactly what the temperature is. I just know where it works for me. Okay, we've almost got this first side trimmed along. We just want to cut through the glue and not the board. Listen to me trying to sound like I know what I'm doing. I've never done this before, and I'm sitting here trying to tell you how to do it. I'm an idiot. All right, so here we are, moving along here. Oops, pop one cap loose. The color of this one makes me think it is an FL. Regardless of what it is, we are going to want to be extra careful not to dislodge anything. This is a practice run, but nevertheless, I do have live runs that I could be doing. So the goal here is learning. And if you have boards in your queue that are needing CPU level rework, I'm begging you to practice first because I'm somebody who has had tons of practice under the microscope, and I know if I take a customer's board and just attempt, like, first to try to one-shot it and do a CPU reball, I'm going to botch it. I'm going to tear up their phone. So it's really, really important. It's excruciatingly important to practice and build up some confidence. Because I'm telling you right now, I have no confidence in this. I've never pulled an A11 before. I've done quite a few A8s and A9s now, just pulls. I haven't done any full-blown, I haven't put anything together expecting it to work yet. This is only strictly practice. And I've been at it, I guess, off and on for a couple of weeks. So I do have at least some hope of pulling this off here and having it look okay. Had to move my board holder a little bit. All right, let's keep working at this thing. There we are. Now I think that was our third side already. So we've already did side 1, 2, side 3, and when I rotate this one more time, it's going to land us right back where we started, which was, wait. No, I'm wrong. I haven't did the third side yet. I can't even count to 4, but I'm expecting to be able to sit here and do CPU rework. All right, so this will be our final side. Oops, that cap is history. Pshing! I'm anti-caps. I'm kidding. All right. Nice, just, there's not much to cut away here on this side. And you'll notice there's already some solder squeezing. That's because before this board arrived here, somebody had reballed NAND and didn't mention it to me. Okay, so we are almost done with our final side here. Now, I do suspect on iPhone 10 CPU rework that we are going to have to spend some time here with the Hydra IC, but let's just, I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. Right now, we are just worried about the CPU, and I would like to be able to pull it off here. Man, talk about some nerves. I would like to be able to pull it off of here without squeezing balls all around the PMIC, but you'll notice that this PMIC, it already has balls squeezing out of it, so keep that in mind whenever you're judging me. All right, so this was our final side. We now have this pretty well cut around. And now when we rotate the board, we're going to land right back where we started, because this time I actually counted. And this is where we are planning on beginning our removal. So that's about as best I can make the microscope do. All right, now it's time to change the hot air. I'm going to raise up to something that will actually melt solder. I am set at 430C at an airflow of 40 out of 100, but once again, I have not calibrated the station, so disregard all of that. It's more, I do things more of how it looks under the microscope. For example, if I put a little dot of flux on here, I know at what temperature chip quick SMD 291 flux begins to boil. Like when that flux starts to boil right there, I have a gut feeling as to how much later than that the solder is going to melt. So I'm not doing things by the temperature on my dial, I'm doing it by what it looks like and prior experience with prior rework, all right? Now, don't listen to anything I'm saying because I am absolutely, positively, beyond the shadow of a doubt, a dumbass, and I've never done this before. So let's see if we can get this CPU off of here. I think that tool's probably a little bit too big. Let's try, Let us try this one. Is that as bad as it looks? Holy crap. What the hell with all that? All right, let's see if we can get some action out of this one. I guess I need to dig in my tools and dig out some more appropriate stuff. All right, so I'm kind of trying to move my hot air around here, and I'm heating up the entire area. I'm heating up the whole board. I'm watching for flux to bubble, and as the flux starts to bubble, I'm going to start to insert this tool right here. Okay. I think I might have just messed up a component. Nope. You know what? We are going to use this one. This is tested and old trusty. I like this tool. You can tell by how much goop is on it. This is a tool that I like. Okay, so we're going to get this. Let's get this started right here. This is why we don't practice on a customer's board, because I am clueless right now. Like, I don't know how this is supposed to feel. I think this tool is way too big. There it goes. You know, it's like using a damn, like using a shovel or something on a zit. I don't know. Okay, here we go. All right, I just don't like that tool. It's too big, it's too clunky. I'm gonna remove my tool and I'm gonna go, let's see, you know what? It's time to try some different stuff. What do we got here? This is a little gizmo that I was sent by either Chi-An Lee or Union Repair. Let's just thread that onto the other side of this one. This is more appropriate for pulling this CPU. Okay, it's this is what I'm using now, and this is what I had been using. Considerably different shapes, different sizes, and let's see if that one will do the trick. You know, it's almost as much about how much confidence it gives you. Like some of these tools I've started using, they have made me feel so good about repair. Like these new screwdrivers from Tool, that I got from Union Repair, all this stuff like really boosts confidence toward repair. So let's see. I wish I had a shorter one. Like, these things are really long. All right, so let's heat this up. I see flux starting to bubble. And as the solder gets hot enough to melt, we're going to just kind of slowly insert our tool. Oop, I see we're messing up components. Let's try to not do that because... All right, here we go. Oh man, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is not going to be hard. All right, so there we have the CPU removed from the old board. I'm willing to bet that I didn't, I mean, come on. We did not damage any pads. It came off really, really easy. It came off like... That came off like really easy, right? Like really, really, really easy. Okay. Now first, let's pretend... I'm going to pretend that this is an iCloud board. And I'm going to go ahead and clean the board up like we're going to put a new chip on it. And I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing right now. Along the main PMIC, there is some solder squeegage. Gosh, that's hard to say. Squeezage, but it's really not that bad. So, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can clean up the CPU area and just kind of pretend that I'm going to put a chip on it. Now, I do see that I probably did screw up some pads right over here where I inserted my tool. But come on, this didn't come out bad at all. We got one component here that's all... Get rid of that stupid little... That's all messed up. Yeah, this over here where I put my tool is the worst area, because I kind of had to ground along the bottom of the board and it scraped the edges of these components. That's the worst spot. As far as the rest of this looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to flood this with some 6337 leaded solder. And let's see if we can clean up this site, just to, hypothetically to drop a chip on it. Like I said, this is just practice, guys. This is not a live run. And I'm going to use some wire solder here that's a little bit too big for the application. What we're doing here, we are just trying to change all of everything here over to leaded from lead-free. We'll make it a bit easier to clean up for sure. Dun, dun, dun. I had fun in a Paul Daniels stream this morning. I've been getting into some of his iPhone stuff. You'll notice whenever he's streaming like logic board repairs, like MacBook repairs, I'm silent because although I have watched tons and tons of Louis Rossmann, I know absolutely nothing about logic board repair. I mean MacBook repair. I'm seriously like, Paul put me in his place. I said, I know nothing about MacBooks, literally nothing, and he responded, they're called MacBooks. Like, okay. You got me. So not literally. All right. This is all looking okay, I guess. We're going to try to shave all this off here in big hunks. I mean, it looks really bad now, but I'm going to try to make this like really quick and painless here in just a second. So bear with me. Let's continue converting things over to leaded, or at least scratching them a little bit here, right? Let's see, did our far end wind up with missing pads? Can't tell yet. Looks like it might have. Yeah. All right, mofo. Here we go. Let's see if we can clean this up now. I'm tired of screwing around. This is a test run, and I've got things to do today that are not test runs. So I can see I've missed some spots, but you know, whatever. We're going to use our handy dandy little hockey stick tool here. I love this thing. It saves me time. It makes me money. I love these things, and I've got a couple more blades, and once they're gone, I will order more because I don't think I can live life without these. So we're going to go ahead and start warming this up. Now, I do have the air set still yet on 430. I mean, it is way up there with plenty enough heat to melt solder. And what we're going to try to do here, I'm going to try to melt the solder and shave this off at the same time. Yeah? Ooh, baby, look at that. I'm loving these tools. Tools make all the difference in the world, guys. Just ignore that row of components. Oh wow, look how hot we got it. Whoopsie. Wait a minute. I smell shenanigans. That Hydro IC's been off there before. Look at the leaded solder under that. See how easy all that solder melted? That's shenanigans. Alright, don't count that against me, okay? There we go, let's do this. The rest of this chip here. Yeah, somebody slipped some lead-free solder in on me. I wasn't expecting it. So that Hydro IC was long melted before I realized it. Okay. I really like how tough this board is turning out to be. I mean, look at me. I'm just literally buzzing through here, cleaning off this spot like we're going to drop another CPU on it. It's no problem. I mean, this is the same tool that I use for cleaning up NAND. And you can just literally fly through this. We're going to do the CPU here in just a sec. Whoops, try not to shave off any other components we need. You know, if this was a live run, then everything that I knock off the board, I have to be concerned about putting back on to be sure that we're going to get a boot. Okay. Rotate. Yeah, I've got it way too hot. See the way these components over here are just wiping off? It's way too hot. They should not be wiping away like that. So this is all things to fine-tune when I come back here and do my live runs. Now my initial runs here will not be in front of the camera because I don't want anything to impair my judgment. And to be completely honest, recording YouTube videos absolutely impairs my judgment. Okay. Gives me the jitters. All right, let's get all these stupid components out of the way. We don't need those anyways. Got a couple of iCloud boards here that are going to work great for live runs. Alright, looks like we are missing some pads over here on this side. We are not going to address or worry about any of those now. This is just simply practicing hand skills. Okay, I think this is just about cleaned up. Let's clean it up with some alcohol and pretend like this is better than it is. Oh, you know what? I should have wicked it. I'm skipping a step. See, that's where video, I literally, it impairs my judgment. At this point, I would normally go ahead and wick it, or maybe even hit it with leaded one more time and then wick it. Let's go ahead and try to wick it, just for fun, and see how this feels. Let's see if any pads wipe off. That's what this is. This is all about practice. There we go. Now on my live run, and I know everything's been converted over to leaded, I might do this wicking with hot air, where you just take your tweezers and hold a piece of wick and use hot air to heat it, and it works just as well. You can just literally run the wick around like a mop. But this is just some pretty crude practice here. Could use some flux on the board, but we're not going to worry about that now, are we? Just ignore these components that I'm mopping around the board. Alright, so that's actually not too bad for the first time. I have never pulled the CPU off of an iPhone 10 before, and I guarantee you my next time I'm not going to knock so many components off. And I'll hit that with a Q-tip once more, just to kind of get a good look at it. And not bad. These pads that are missing over here, these are very much likely to be NCs. I can't see anything down in their holes. That one might not be an NC. We may not have some NCs there. I'm not sure what we got there. This is where I shoved my tool in, so naturally I knew we would have some carnage there. And there you have it. That's pretty much the board side. I mean, that's almost good enough to stick a chip on it. So let's throw that aside here. And let me see. And let's find somewhere to stick this CPU, shall we? We're going to stick it right down here in the board holder on that corner. Oh, this is going to be the easy part. Look at this thing. It's like, it's almost spotless. Are they all going to be this easy? All right, let's see if we can clean up the CPU. And I see that we've got, I don't know about these little ICs. They look to be ICs on the bottom of the chip. We're going to try to avoid those. Let's get some flux on here. There we go. I'm willing to bet if we crack anything on this entire chip that bad things are going to happen. So let's be careful not to bust it, shall we? All right, so now I'm going to take leaded solder and try to smooth out these pads. And I'm trying to not touch the chip. I'm trying to not touch the CPU with my iron at all. I'm just hovering solder over it. See how that's doing? I'm just literally hovering it. Ugh. And this one here I am kind of touching because, well, we've got some goop. Okay, I'm going to switch to the micro pencil and see if it has enough ass to do some of this inner stuff. I don't really like the micro pencil. Nah, let's use the big iron. This is a FM2027 handle with the JS02 tip. The links for all of my tools are in the description, even on a crappy video like this. I'm about to have to bump one of these little bottom mounted ICs or whatever they are just to see what happens. Okay. So we've got a fair amount of oxidization on these pads in here. And if we were planning to reball this, none of these pads could have this gray tinge to them. We actually need to get in here and fix and make sure we don't have any of these pads oxidized like that. Which the micro pencil, it usually works really well. We can get in here and do them like literally just fly through them. Let's get some more solder. I just don't think you're going to get around this. I suppose if it was hot enough when it came apart and you had enough flux on it, you might be able to keep these layers of oxidization from forming. But this is just, this happens. Let's see, are we actually missing pads here? Or are they, sure does look like we are flat out missing pads on this end. Not sure, we're going to ignore that for now. I'll address that later. Those pins might be missing on purpose. Almost there, baby. I just want to see if we can clean this up and how many pads are missing after we do so. Now, is this something on the chip over here, or is this actually, did I damage the chip? I think I've damaged the chip on this side, right over here. I think I got a big damaged spot. We're going to look at that in a minute. If you're looking for gold nuggets and looking for me to look professional during this video, that's not going to happen. Okay, those are in fact missing pads. And it's caused by my iron. I just seen that I damaged the board right there around that one. Okay. So on a live run, I'll actually be more careful because I think I have drugged some pads off of here using my iron. All right, I think I'm about ready to hit this with a Q-tip and see what it looks like. All right, let's get some leaded in here. Give this another good flooding. And then we'll clean it up. Got too big of a blob. The surface tension is picking up the chip. Holy cow. Okay. Almost there. Let's get up here at the corner. We've got a few more oxidized pads. There we go. Now we're going to clean it up with some alcohol, and let's see what happens. Shall we? Oh yeah, I definitely damaged the CPU all along this side, guys. Look at that. All right, let's get a little more flux on here. Oh, that's a hairy flux pen, isn't it? I should probably be cleaning between these pads using a blade or something, and not the iron. Yeah, let's throw the iron aside after I tin this one and that one. And let's switch to this tool here, right? Ow! Okay, now I'm going to go back to the iron with some 6337. I'm glad this is just a practice run. Holy crap. Guess it's not too bad for a practice run, but I don't like it that I've taken big hunks out of the side of that CPU. That is just terrible. And, you know, I don't know what sort of torture these things will take. I don't know how much I can torture it with hot air before screwing up the RAM. I know that this this model here is a lot more tolerant than previous models. This CPU is definitely a lot more tough than the iPhone 7 CPU already. Alright, this thing is almost cleaned up. And on a live run, I will find myself being much more careful around these little blocks. My first one's probably going to take me forever because I'm going to be sure not to botch it, right? All right, let's hit this with some alcohol and see what this chip looks like. It's actually looking very promising for a first try. Ooh, baby. All right, let's get this out of there. I'll apply a little bit of heat. It should lift right up out of there with ease. There we go. All right, let's look at what all I messed up. I'll clean it up a little bit more, and then we can look at it, all right? Okay. All right, there you have it, folks. Let's have a good look at it and see what I did. Basically, we have removed the chip, cleaned the goop off the bottom, and if we get in here and look real... Shit. Just the microscope. If we get in here and look real close at some of these pads, you will see that I have indeed messed up some pads right there. Let's just kind of buzz around and look at this thing. We've got an oxidized pad here that nope, that's not an oxidized pad. Yeah, it is. Okay. We got an oxidized pad there that I missed. You know, almost all of the pads look good. You can see that I've accidentally... We've got some lifted pads over here. It looks like, you know, we've got one missing here, 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 here. These are lifted pads, but it looks like the longer ones, how am I trying to say this? Some of these are grouped together to where it's going to be okay if they're missing, but there are some micro fine traces that are going like to that pad there. That's, you know, that has something hooked to it. That's not enough stuff. So even though I did do an okay job at pulling this off here with pretty minimal damage to most of the chip, over here on this side of the chip where I jabbed my tool under it, I'm pretty sure that's the side I jabbed my tool under. I mean, just look at it. I completely destroyed the side of the CPU. So even though that I feel okay about it, this is still a complete miserable failure. And had I tried this live on a customer's phone, you know, look what I did. I just lost somebody's data. So guys, that's going to be the end of this video. I don't even know if I'm going to post this or not, but I'll see you soon. Have a good day.